Hi, I'm Leather Rock. Welcome to my channel. I am in my mother's room in the nursing home, and there she is. And I want to talk to you today about some things. One observation I'm going to make is that this is the third time I've been here, and each time I've checked in here, the procedure has been different. Now, as a caregiver, one of the things that I keep on reading is that we should really monitor our loved ones' care and just pay attention to things. And I've been definitely keeping my eyes and ears open. The first day that I checked in here, I just told the gentleman who I was here to see, my relationship to her, my name. They gave me a mask, they checked my temperature, and let me in. Yesterday, when I came in, there was a brief misunderstanding because apparently the nice guy at the front desk thought that I was here to see a person named Leatherbrock, and he thought that I was my mother, and obviously Leatherbrock is not checked into a nursing home, at least not this year. So, but once we realized the misunderstanding, everything was fine. He was real nice. Well, today the signing process was yet different. I had to actually go to a screen, had to put in my landline phone number, type in my name, type in my mother's name, type in my relationship to her, and they checked my temperature, gave me a mask, sent me in. So, but so I'm in the room, right? And it was really weird. I show up, approach the door was closed. Now, I didn't knock on the door because I don't like, get my hands on doors and everything, but I did announce, I noticed there was a gentleman who worked for there. They call them aides, and they do things like helping you when you're uncomfortable in your bed. They have these beds that you can raise and lower them, and they do different tasks that help patients to be comfortable. And for the most part, they're very nice, competent people. Well, this guy gave me attitude right away. I said simply, may I ask why the door is closed? I identified myself. I identified my relationship to my mother. Well, first the guy totally ignores me. Then he gives me this attitude like he doesn't need to answer me. And, I noticed the bedside manner of people right away. And I understand he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. And it's not like I showed ID or anything. I don't can't necessarily prove who I am. Of course, my mother spoke up. She recognized her daughter's voice. The guy just he seemed really grouchy and nasty, honestly. And I again reiterated that I was not only my mother's daughter, but her caregiver. And now I just had this. I can't explain to you. I just had this feeling that something just wasn't totally okay. And I've heard enough stories about the importance of really being proactive and taking an active interest in your parents' care and taking notes and getting to know some of the people. And it also sends a message to everybody that yes, this person has loved ones and you're checking in on them. People care, people are paying attention, and it's important to let people know. And again, I'm reiterating, I've never had any reason to believe that any of the people in any of the hospitals my mother was in were anything less than adequate. They all seemed like they cared. They all seemed kind. I talk to my mom on the phone a lot of times when I'm not even here, and she's always telling me about this nice lady, this nice man, how patient they are. The kind of things that we all want for our loved ones. This guy, he was just grouchy. What he asked me to do is stand in the hallway. Well, if you've been in any kind of facilities, either hospitals or nursing homes, the hallways are only so wide, and oftentimes there's medical equipment, there's people who work there, and I don't want to be underfoot. They even said I could be in the lobby if I wanted to, but the lobby is all the way down the hall, and then there are some doors that are closed, and it turns out you can press a button and the doors open. You don't necessarily need to wait for a nurse to open it. I didn't know that. Obviously, I don't hang out in nursing homes, so I wouldn't know these things. It's a learning process, like anything else. Well, my mom tells me that she was being weighed, and they have so many different ways to do that. I mean, in another video, I will tell you about some of the other things I've learned about some of the procedures here. It's really eye-opening if you have not spent a lot of time in nursing homes or hospitals. And I'm glad that they have different ways to do things because obviously they have to think about patients might have serious pain issues. Like my mother, for instance, if I touch the back of her hand, it really hurts her. So you have to be very, very careful. A lot of people, their skin thins as we get older, and you have the nerve endings are more sensitive. And I feel terrible if I touch my mom. Like, for instance, she had me clip her fingernails back yesterday. You have to be real careful. You don't pinch the skin, you know? Well, turned out that person who was here is not her favorite person. And he was, instead of doing his job, he would be distracted by what people are watching on TV. And it's just basically dawdling and almost like he was delaying doing what he was actually supposed to do. Here, when I showed up, all of a sudden, I guess something went off and he said he realized, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be weighing her or whatever. But he gave me attitude, which I didn't like. And maybe it's a Scorpio in me, but I really don't take well to being challenged. I understand that we've got HEPA loans and we have security and they want to make sure that only authorized people are here. Obviously, you don't want your loved ones to be subject to some stranger off the street with bad intent. Granted, I understand that. You know, people, if you don't know, my first real job was in the security field. So I know well about things like public safety and about the responsibility of protecting hard targets and keeping unauthorized people out and all that stuff. It's not, and plus all the veterans that I know and all the military people that I talk to online and in real life. I would like to think I'm not unsophisticated in these things. But I really, this is the first person that I've encountered in all the places that my mother's been in that I do not care for. And whenever you see somebody that doesn't seem like they are really doing everything they want to be, this almost reminds me of when my father was sick and we occasionally had home health care people coming in. And there was this one particular, I don't know if she was a nurse or what she was, but my mom at the time was working at the Trump Taj Mahal Casino, and I was hanging out with my father doing, whatever I could to make him comfortable. And this one nurse lady, she seemed like she was more interested in my Hollywood showbiz career than in taking care of my father. Mm. It's like, hello. I think what she was supposed to do is help my father do some exercises in bed so that his muscles wouldn't atrophy. Because a lot of times, people, as they get older, there's this thing called sarcopenia, which basically means that the muscles atrophy. If you are seated or laying down, say, for 2 weeks at a time, did you know that 2 weeks at a time being bedridden is the equivalent of a year of not walking and getting exercise? So it's so important to get enough protein and to get some kind of exercise to build up your muscle strength. I've been reading more and more on this because it doesn't affect just the very, very old people, but anybody even close to middle age that's not getting enough exercise. I got to think about that myself since I'm not working out hardcore like I used to be, like I really miss, frankly, because who doesn't want that six pack and that lean muscle mass and stuff? But we really need to encourage our seniors to get that exercise and to build up that lean muscle mass. Incidentally, my mom told me that even though now they feed us them really good in this facility, I'm looking at the menus, and she gets us a slip with every meal that shows what the menu was, and she checks off what it was, and she writes little notes mentioning if it was actually different than what it was. But they seem to give real variety in what looks like, for all intents and purposes, gourmet meals. One time she had a really good barley soup that was more barley and less soup, and she actually didn't want it, so she gave most of it to me, right? And it was not bad at all. So they're not starving them. But that said, my mother has lost some weight since being here, and it's not like they have her running marathons or anything. But um, I like that they're getting attention and people are proactive and paying attention to her and stuff. And for the most part, I like everybody that I've encountered. They seem like they really care, except for this one particular guy. And we're keeping our eyes open, as any smart person would. And I'm certainly keeping notes. I've written down names of people and stuff. And it's anybody who has a loved one in the facility goes. That way they know that somebody who loves them is here and is paying attention. So, yeah, I'm doing everything I can to monitor my mother's care. Oh, and she got a card today. Oh, she's unplugged. Oh, don't say that. Somebody's saying something about the unplugged thing, and that always sounds like, um, oh, she said something's unplugged here. But actually, It seems like it's plugged into me. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on this one particular guy because he's got an attitude. But I will talk to you tomorrow with more news from this really this place that I hope continues to give her good care because she needs to build her strength. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.